Welcome to Impact's Tech Tip series. I'm Julian, and you're watching the third episode of our web design tips. Today, we're diving into the difference between static and dynamic websites and examples of each. Let's begin. When it comes to building a website, one of the big decisions you'll face is whether to go with a static or dynamic site. A static site appears the same for every user and only changes when a developer manually updates the content. This kind of website is made up of pre-built files stored on a web server. When a user requests a page, the server returns the file that is specified by the URL without any adjustments. This means that the web page looks exactly the same to everyone who requests it. A lot of websites you visit are likely static. Some examples of static websites include National Geographic, Billy's, and even Impact's website. Whether you're visiting the site from across the world or just down the street, it appears identical to everyone who visits it. Let's break down the pros and cons of static websites to help you figure out if they're the right choice for your needs. One of the biggest benefits is speed. Static sites load quickly, making them great for user experience and SEO. They're also cost-effective since they're simpler to create. Another advantage is the speed of development. If you're working with a tight deadline, static sites can be quickly built. Plus, they're more secure since there's no backend database that could be vulnerable to attacks. And with fewer components, they're generally more reliable with less risk of crashes or downtime. There are also some drawbacks too. One major con is limited scalability. As your website grows, updating a static site can become time-consuming since every page needs to be adjusted manually. Managing multiple pages can quickly turn into a hassle without a streamlined system. There's also no admin panel. Unlike sites built on content management systems like WordPress, static sites don't offer a user-friendly way to update or manage content, making it less accessible for non-developers. Another downside is the lack of dynamic content. Since static websites don't have databases, features like user accounts or real-time data are difficult to implement. Interactivity is also limited. You won't be able to have features like comments that help engage visitors. Static websites are great if you need something fast, affordable, and secure, especially for simple projects. But if you're looking for scalability, interactivity, or frequent updates, you might want to consider having a dynamic website. So, what is a dynamic website? Unlike static sites, dynamic websites display different information to different visitors. The content a visitor sees can be determined by a variety of factors, including location, local time, settings and preferences, or user actions. This flexibility makes dynamic sites much more engaging and interactive. On the back end, dynamic websites are more complex. They use technologies to build pages on the fly, pulling information from databases to deliver personalized content to each visitor. Instead of having pre-built files, the server generates each page in real time before sending it to the user's browser. Think of websites like Instagram or Netflix. These examples of dynamic websites customize your experience based on your interactions. From tailored content to personalized recommendations like Netflix's Top Picks for You section. Let's take a look at the advantages of dynamic websites. One of the biggest ones is personalization. Dynamic websites can deliver tailored content, user accounts, and interactive features that keep visitors engaged. Another benefit is how easy it is to update content across the entire site. Since content is stored centrally, you can update it in one place, and those changes are reflected across the whole site. Then, there's scalability. Dynamic websites can grow to handle thousands or even millions of pages, which is essential for large platforms like e-commerce sites. If you're aiming for an Amazon-level presence, scalability is key. Despite their complexity, dynamic websites can actually be easier to maintain in the long run. Content management systems and automated features make it simple to keep everything running smoothly. But there are challenges to consider. Dynamic websites are more complex and time-consuming to develop and maintain. The additional features require careful planning, coding, and testing, which can drive up costs. They also require a higher level of technical expertise. You'll likely need experienced developers to build and manage the site, meaning you'll have to rely on specialized skills. And finally, slow load times can be an issue. Since content is generated in real time, the site can take longer to load if it isn't optimized or getting a lot of traffic. Dynamic websites are a perfect option if you need personalization, interactivity, and scalability for a large growing business. But be prepared for added complexity and the need for specialized skills. Thanks again for tuning into this episode of Impact's Tech Tips. I hope you have a better understanding of static versus dynamic websites and how to pick up the type that best works for your needs. Interested in learning more about web design? Check out our videos on how to pick colors for a website and what web accessibility is. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tech insights.